Well, don't you just love live TV? I was like all ready to talk and I realized I wasn't on the screen. I was so enthralled by my new opening that so sorry about that, everyone. Anyway, I am LynAnn Meyer. You are watching Own Your Wellness, and we are excited to be here today. We have an amazing guest. She and I hit it off through the internet, so I'm excited to introduce you. I'm not going to waste any more time. LynAnn Weaver, welcome to the show. Glad to have you here.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, as I mentioned, there have been a few little technical difficulties. For those of you who are watching, we had like a volume situation before we started and all the things. But that's how I know it's going to be a good show. Whenever there's an issue, hand to God, it's always a good show. Go figure. But anyway, enough about that. I just want to jump right in. I would love for you to tell our audience a bit about yourself and your wellness journey.
Yeah. So I am LynAnn Weaver. I'm a certified high performance coach and formerly worked in healthcare administration. But a lot of my wellness journey actually started when I was about 16 and was driving one morning with my friends and ended up having our tire blow and got ejected from the car, and the car actually rolled on top of me. And I woke up in the hospital room to my physician leaning over me, just in an immense amount of pain. And he leaned over and he said the words that I had always dreaded hearing, which was, LynAnn, you were crushed by that car. I'm so sorry, but you're never going to walk again. And I just went, as a 16-year-old, I played sports. I, worked out every day. I was training for a marathon. I was doing all of these things that really required walking as a huge part of my life. And so hearing that didn't just mean to me, oh, you're not just going to be able to walk. To me, that meant you're never going to reach your dreams. You're never going to be successful. You're never going to get to that career that you want to have. And everything just kind of came crashing down. And it really taught me so much about the importance of resilience and of perseverance, because every single person is going to have, their version of that car wreck. It may be a challenge that is, as a student, maybe you don't get into that school that you want to, or as an adult, hey, it didn't get the promotion, or I didn't get the job that I wanted, or maybe I lost my job and now I don't know how I'm going to make ends meet, or, pay for food and take care of my family. But those situations all give us an opportunity to either stop and suffer in the failure, or use that failure as a learning lesson and an opportunity to grow and strengthen and improve. And a lot of the resilience that I learned through coming through that accident really helped me accelerate in my professional life as well. And so not only did I start walking again, I've, run the equivalent of a half marathon several times. I've summited over a dozen 14ers, which are mountains over 14,000 feet. I live in Colorado. And so that's, the thing that we all love to do here. And it's really just part of that journey of overcoming, of persevering, and of finding your why for why you want to work through something, and that thing that's going to be so much bigger than you that's on the other side. And that's one of the things that I now help our clients also discover, so that they can really use their own strengths, their own journey to really drive them to greatness.
I appreciate that answer on so many levels. The first question that literally comes to my mind is this idea of, how did you know not to listen to the doctor that said you weren't going to walk again? Because there's a point where, there's a reality to things, but there's another point where you don't have to believe everything you're told either. So I'm curious how you walk through that, figuratively and actually literally.
Yeah. And you brought up a really good point there. It's the belief that is so important. The belief that we hold about ourselves, our capability, our situation, the outcomes that we're capable of, that's really what drives our level of success. And the belief that I had at first when he told me that, I went into denial. It was, this has to be a dream. This can't be happening. And then the pain sunk in, and I was like, okay, I can't breathe without just excruciating pain. I can't move my legs. I can't, move at all, really. And there were a few things, but one of the biggest was really just the community that I was surrounded by. So I'm blessed to have an amazing family. And my mom had, given up everything to come and just sit with me and be with me. And she, at one point, I don't remember exactly when this was, but it was, I was in a coma for several days and just kind of in and out of consciousness for a while. And she comes in and she's like, LynAnn, you've overcome so many things already at this point in your life. Are you going to let this allow you to be limited, or what are you going to choose to move forward? And I just sat there and I was like, I do. I have a choice. Maybe I won't ever walk again, but I'm going to give every single ounce of everything that I have to move forward with it and to actually, do the things that are necessary to get there. Mm-hmm. And fortunately, I also, one of my cousins, who's a few years older than me, 2 years before my accident, had actually been in his shop class and fallen over paralyzed with Guillain-Barré syndrome, which is the number one cause of non-traumatic acute paralysis. And it's where your myelin sheath actually pretty much degenerates and you're not able to actually move at all. And so he was completely paralyzed. All he could do was blink. And he was told that he would never walk again. And he walks into my hospital room 2 years, or maybe it was 3 years afterwards. And he hands me this 3-page long handwritten note that said, if nothing else, I hope that my journey has been a testament to you of what's possible when you put your mind to something. I was also in that same position. And these are the steps that I took to be able to move past it. And he's like, you're going to have pain. You're going to have setbacks. You're going to feel like, there are going to be days where you just want to give up and die. And I did. But you also have to remember what's possible. Excuse me.
So cool.
What's possible for you when you really stay committed to that goal and to that vision that you have for your life. If you want to walk again, you can. If you want to become, at that time I wanted to be a physician. If you want to be a physician, you can. If you want to be, whatever you want to do, whatever you want to be, you can do that, but you have to believe in yourself. You have to believe it's possible.
I love that so much because as myself, I don't have anywhere near as dramatic a story as that's happened to me. However, I have been able to reinvent myself in so many different ways because I never got stuck in this idea of who I am. It never became like this permanent thing. There's a lot of, actually, sorry, I'm going to backtrack. I can't remember who said this. It was, I think it was Tootie from The Facts of Life. I can't remember her real name. But anyway, she was talking about having cancer. And she said that she never wanted to identify as a cancer patient. But, so she went through all the treatments and everything else. And she said, even afterwards, though, there was some parts of me that still identified with being a cancer patient. So I needed to do a detox to let go of that identity. And I thought that was really fascinating that people hold on to like these identities, not just like that, but with, you could have held on to the idea, I don't walk, I can't, I was in an accident, poor me. But you chose to move forward. And I love that you're using that now, even helping other people.
Yeah. And I love that you just brought up identity, because our identity ties into our belief. It ties into the vision that we hold of ourselves, of who we see ourselves as capable of. And our identity often comes because of the experiences that we've had, the things that we've been told about us, about our capabilities, and more importantly, the ones that we've chosen to believe. So during that time, it was, who is I going to be? And this is actually something that my team and I go and speak in schools. And one of the things that we always open with is, who are you? And excuse me, oh my goodness, who are you? And who would you be if the world never told you who you could be? And in that moment, I decided, am I going to be limited by what this doctor told me, by what the situation told me I'm capable of, and by what my current situation seems to be? Or am I going to choose to be limitless? And if I'm limitless, that means nothing's going to stop me, and I'm going to be able to overcome this. My situation will change. My level of success isn't determined by my current situation. It's not determined what this doctor told me that I wasn't able to do, or what anybody tells me that I'm not able to do. Limitless means that I'm committed to doing and accomplishing, growing and achieving, no matter what it takes.
I love that. And I'm curious too, because I'm curious what your thoughts are on this. For me, the thing that I've had to do with myself is sort of let go of the outcome, the attachment to what I'm trying to achieve, and really hold on to who I become in the process.
Yes.
And that is the win for me. Even if for whatever reason, it just doesn't work out. I don't feel like a failure because of who I've become in the process. So
Absolutely.
I'm just curious. You agree with that, Ben?
100%. And it's not, I mean, even if you start to look into kind of the neuroscience of goal achievement and success, the way that we feel is, and the level of success that we're able to accomplish really comes from celebrating those wins along the journey, not necessarily being tied to a specific one outcome and how it has to be done, but really setting our focus on, this is my big vision, this is my big goal, this is what I want to create, and what are the steps that I need to take along that journey? Who do I need to become to be able to deliver that, to be that, to give that, and celebrating those milestones and the steps and the progress and everything that you're doing, everything that you're putting in along the way, because that's what's really going to drive you towards that.
I love that. I love that so much because it's something that has really hit home recently for me. So what you're saying, I'm just like, yes. So I have a business partner, and I adore him, and he's hilarious because we were talking when we first decided to work together. He said, we're going to have a business plan, but it's never going to be point A to point B. It's never going to be that. And then he used this example, and I thought it was really fascinating because everybody thinks, he goes, it's never a straight line. There's always going to be left turns, right turns, U-turns, all the things in order for you to get where you want to go. However, that does not mean that it wasn't your straight line.
Yeah.
And I think that is such a brilliant way to put things. But the example that I wanted to share was that he talked about, you're looking at an orange tree off in the distance, and your objective is to get from where you are walking to that orange tree. And you're walking along, everything's going great. Then all of a sudden you come across some barbed wire fence. You couldn't see the barbed wire fence from where you were, so you didn't bring any clippers to get through it. So now you have your choice. You still need to get to that orange tree. So are you going to go find a way around it? Or are you going to go back and get the clippers? So I thought, oh my gosh, that's right. You can't blame yourself for not seeing what's, along the road past your eyesight, but you still get to choose how you're going to get there. And either way, it will work, but you just have to choose. And that's still a straight line for you because you didn't see the barbed wire.
Yeah. And that's such a great example of just, the obstacles that we hit in life overall. Mm-hmm. We're going to hit them. They're going to be there. We may not see them coming. Sometimes we do. Mm-hmm. But it's really about that commitment to, when I hit this obstacle, what am I committed to? Am I committed to comfort or safety, which is what human tendency is? Mm-hmm. Or am I committed to overcoming this no matter what? Whether I have to climb over it, whether I have to figure out how to accelerate my vertical jump by 10 feet and set up all this stuff to get over it. There's always one more thing that we can look for. There's another option that we have. There's an approach that we haven't tried. There are limitless options to be able to overcome those obstacles, but it depends on where we keep our focus, and it depends on where we keep our commitment.
I love that. So my question for you is, have you always been a coach, or has it been something that you stepped into? Because I feel like with anything, it's one of those roundabout.
Yeah. Had you told me even 5 years ago, this is where I would be, I don't even know that I knew that this career path existed, but I had started on a journey of healthcare administration with the goal to be a CEO of a hospital. And while I was the regional director of neurosciences, I had a few situations come up that really showed me the power of, high performance, which is what I focus on now, but it's really the science of human performance and what makes us successful, what helps us reach our goals, or what what holds us back. And I had a couple different situations where, one, we had every, operational failure that you could have, from pre-hospital to it was a full moon, which really actually does impact the number of strokes and heart attacks and, challenges that we have. We were short-staffed, had, supply chain issues, and we ended up having a couple really bad cases because of those. And, patients came in, by the time that they got to us, there really wasn't much that could have been done. But I almost lost two of my best physicians over this situation because it was just everything stacked on top of each other. And these were both prior military physicians. And after going through all of the challenges of that weekend, they both said, I don't know that I can do this anymore. I didn't sign up for this. And I went, okay, I don't have the tools to help them navigate this. And this is probably not the only time that we're going to have some challenges. So how do I fix this? How do I help them? How do I give them the tools and resources that they need to be able to keep going? And that was really what started me on this journey of diving into human performance and personal growth. And then also at the same time, I was going through an emotionally abusive relationship and saw myself, lack of confidence, not really seeing myself as worthy of anything, questioning if I was good enough, if I was smart enough, if I was, brilliant enough to be able to come up with these solutions because of some of the things that my ex had said to me that I had chosen to believe and had taken on as part of my identity. And so as all of this is happening, it was like, okay, what can help with this? What will help me get to the goal that I have, which is keep our physicians, make sure our patients are well taken care of, and make sure that I get out of this relationship alive and be happy again. And when I dove in and found the High Performance Institute and Brendan Burchard, I went, oh my gosh, this is it. And also started just going to as many conferences and seminars and reading and podcasts and, listening to motivational speeches as much as I could. And all of a sudden it clicked and I went, oh, this is the difference maker. When I can help give them these tools, like in the world of high performance, we have specific tools around increasing productivity, raising your energy, gaining more clarity around who you are, what you're capable of, setting those goals, and really strategies to achieve them. And using some of those tools really allowed me to help change the trajectory of my service line, our physicians, our patient outcomes, helping them develop the mindset skills to, be able to actually improve patient outcomes. Because I don't know if you're familiar with a book titled The Happiness Advantage, but they had done so Sean Aker is the author, and he was a professor at Harvard and had done a meta data analysis for what really causes success. And one of the things that they really studied was the state of mind or neurochemical state that's created when we're in a positive mindset, and the impact that that has on our level of performance and success. And what they found was that when you're in a positive state of mind, as compared to negative or even a neutral state of mind, you are up to 31% more productive, 37% better at sales. And in this particular study, it said physicians are 19% faster at determining an accurate diagnosis. But extrapolated out, that's everybody is capable of being 19% faster at, accurate decision making, good decision making, and the things that end up coming out of that are tremendously better. And so if you're wanting more productivity, if you're wanting to have better sales success, which everything that we do is sales, whether that's, talking to a client or a potential customer or convincing your kids that they actually need to go to do their homework and then go to bed, that is a sales process. And it gives us that ability to really connect better, to be more empathetic, to have more rational thinking, to be more creative. And so our outcomes improve just by learning how to really control and manage our mindset, or the neurochemical state that we're in, that allows different regions of our brain to be more active and help us expand and be able to be good at those things.
I love that. And that actually puts the power back in your own hands instead of being led around by your emotions. I've been guilty of taking my temperature before I do things and like, do I feel like it.
Yes.
It's not the way that I want to live my life anymore. It's just not the same quality, that's for sure. But anyway, we do need to go to a commercial break. So we're going to be back in just a moment. And for those of you who are watching us live, thank you so much for being here. When we come back, we're going to talk about what exactly high performance is and grow from there. We'll be back in just a moment.
When drug or alcohol addiction take over, things begin to disappear. Your friends, your family, and eventually, you. Recommended by Dr. Phil, New Method Wellness can help get your life back with individualized treatment plans for dual diagnosis clients. New Method Wellness provides the most highly credentialed treatment in a safe and welcome environment. Call New Method Wellness for your free consultation and ask about our national accreditations. Together, we can put the pieces back together.
Welcome back, everyone. Let's bring our special guest, LynAnn, back to the show. So glad to have you here today. Whew. All right. So, I'd love for you to explain a little bit about what exactly high performance is, because it's one of those things that people use that term, but nobody really knows what it means. So I would love for you to share what that is.
Yeah, that's a great question. It's always a good conversation starter because a lot of people don't know what that is. So we define high performance as reaching heightened levels of sustained success over standard norms. So higher levels of success than what you thought you were previously capable of or what your peers have accomplished. And it's achieving that higher level of success over the long term. So it's not just peak performance, it's sustaining continuous growth. And while maintaining your health, your well-being, and your positive relationships. Because without those three things, you're really not ever going to be able to achieve true success.
Oh, I love that. And so I know I put up your website before, but you have something that you're offering, and I would love for you to share a little bit about that.
Yeah. So we have a free gift for all of your listeners, which is to take the high performance indicator assessment. And this has been, it actually has been statistically shown to have a strong positive correlation between the outcomes and the metrics that are on this assessment and being able to increase your happiness, your confidence, the career impact that you're able to have, your quality of work and your performance at work, as well as life satisfaction. And so this is really just a great metric to identify where you're at. And then from there, it's a great tool to be able to measure your progress as we start to implement some of those strategies and tools that I mentioned previously that are part of the high performance framework. And we can actually take you and help you build and improve in all of those areas so that your happiness, confidence, career impact, and work quality and life satisfaction can also increase.
I love that. And what is it like to work with you?
So we do an initial assessment, and really it's kind of like if you're going into a physician's office and they're trying to determine what's going on with you. Everything is a research-based process that we take people through to really identify their pain points, their struggles, their challenges, what that belief system is that they have about themselves. And then we create a customized game plan for them to be able to help them reach the goals that they actually have.
I love that. Is that one-on-one or a group setting, or how does that look?
Yeah, we do both. So we one-on-one is absolutely an option. And, I work a lot with physicians and executives in the one-on-one, just mostly because of time constraints. But we also have group coaching. And we've actually started tying in our group high performance coaching in with a speaker training program that we're doing. Something that I found, especially with a lot of the clients that I worked with, is they've reached higher levels of success, but maybe they're not happy, or they don't feel like they're leaving a legacy, or they don't necessarily know what is going to bring them fulfillment, because everything that they thought they wanted, they've gotten, and they're still not where they want to be. And so one of the things that we found is really allowing them to start to share their stories, their learning points, their lessons with youth. And so we go into schools and we speak and we teach people how to craft and create their stories that are going to connect with the audience and help our future generation see themselves as capable, to shape their identities as what's possible for them, and to help them step into that creativity so that they're able to, create things that we haven't even thought of now. And so one of the options that we also have is really taking people through that speaker training. And we've partnered with Top School Speakers, whose CEO has spoken in schools for the past 8 years and has just an incredible track record and has reached over 1 million people, and give them that opportunity to train to do that if they would like, or to just join the high performance group coaching program and really help accelerate their career growth and trajectory, no matter what industry they're in.
I love that. And I love that you're tying in your past career with what you're doing now. So it's not like you just went, bye, I'm done. Bye, Felicia. You still get to help the people that you cared about, the group that you cared about, as long as you did, in a different sort of way. So, I love that you saw a need and were able to create a solution for that need.
Yeah. And it's been fabulous, and especially being able to broaden out into different industries. So we work a lot with entrepreneurs, with small to medium business owners, but then also the executives, and worked in various industries. There really aren't any that this framework doesn't support or help. And so it really allows us my entire team, to be able to tie all of our passions, all of our expertise into helping people achieve that higher level of success that they're wanting.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but what I think I'm hearing you say in my own mind is it doesn't necessarily matter what you're doing per se. It has everything to do with how you're being and what you're up here. So it doesn't matter if you're expressing yourself as an entrepreneur or a physician, a small business owner, whatever the case may be, because you still work on the same concepts or from the same concepts.
Yes. And the curriculum that we coach from has actually been part of one of the largest studies on human performance and potential in the world. And so it's been studied and tracked and researched in over 190 countries, and with, the world's top 1% of performers, to really identify what those habits and systems being the key word, You can have a dream, you can have a goal, but without the actual habits and the systems to be able to develop it, it kind of becomes a pipe dream. And so that's where we integrate the systems to habit building so that anybody, if you're a stay-at-home mom to a Fortune 100 CEO, every single person can improve in the way that they want to improve in to reach to reach the level of success as they define success.
Oh, you just said all my magic words in the most wonderful way. How they define success.
Yes.
Because it's not the same for everybody. I remember I had this spiritual mentor, and I adore him. And don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to put him down. I'm just saying that one of the things was I've always kind of imagined for myself a smaller house, like almost like a beach cottage versus the big mansion kind of a thing. And he always used to say, not just to me in particular, but to the group of us, you want the small space because whatever. Anyway, he was saying I wasn't dreaming big enough. And I just thought, but that's what I want. That to me would be success, to have a little beach cottage versus this big old mansion. And I don't need 10,000 square feet.
Right.
For me and my 2 pets and my husband. I don't need all that space. We don't entertain that much.
Yeah. And that is so important, because if you had all of that, one, it's not going to make you happy. And two,
No.
what else is that taking away from your level of joy and fulfillment?
It's interesting too, because, and this is something that is fascinating to me, is I've had the opportunity to live in different countries. And I mean, I've lived a really amazing life, I'm not going to lie. But when I, for example, lived in Italy, I went there with, I think it was 4, maybe 5 huge roll type, not suitcases, but like the big duffel bag type. And that was all I had with me. And I was the happiest I'd ever been. And I had the least amount of stuff.
Yeah.
It was fascinating.
I can completely relate to that too. Like, I used to have this vision, and our definition of success can change. Like, yes. I used to have the big house and the, prestige and status and all of those things as my metric for success. And as I started growing in my career, like, I hit the financial goals that I had. But now it's shifted. And now my level of success is based off of how many people do I get to positively impact today? How many people can I help versus that number? And then, I had one of my clients is the CEO of an international company, and he'd hit way above and beyond any level of financial success that he ever thought would even be possible. And he came to me and he's like, but I don't love life. Like, I'm here. What else do I do? Mm-hmm. I don't have, I've got a family, but I don't really see them very much. And so it was redefining his definition of success and actually setting some of those goals of, okay, how much time do you want to spend with your family? Mm-hmm. How many days a week do you want to leave by 5:30 or 6 p.m. at the latest from the office instead of working until 11 every day? How many days do you want to be working out? What's your focus on your nutrition? How do you want to feel? Mm-hmm. And all of those other pieces start to be part of the puzzle instead of just that singular focus on what is my financial goal. And that's what so many people miss out on. And you don't have a full life and you're not really living if you're only focused on one definition.
Yeah, just one aspect. I mean, I've definitely been guilty of being single-minded in my life, where it's all fitness, or it's all money, or it's all,
Yeah.
Now it's like a poo-poo platter of everything. And I'm okay with nothing being extraordinarily above the other, because I'm actually happy with the way things are. So yeah, no, I like that. Now, you mentioned something that I want to touch on more, because I think it's really important. This idea of systems. Mm-hmm. And what's the difference between a system versus a habit?
So a habit is something that we're repeatedly doing. And that is, something that, whether it's you have a morning routine, which is very important and non-negotiable, But the system is, how do I do this so that it is essentially fail proof? Like if I were to hand my system over to somebody so that they can replicate it, because a system is for anything that you're going to be doing more than once. And so they kind of actually go hand in hand. But the system that we have is taking people through specific steps so that they develop the habits that are going to support them long term, and having the tools and strategies as part of that system so that they have something that they can replicate over and over and over, and not just have to rely on themselves or their willpower to be able to make those changes.
I like that. Yeah, willpower
is fleeting oftentimes.
It is. I mean, it's a muscle you can grow, but if you're going to depend on willpower, it is going to let you down.
For sure. Willpower is not a system.
It is not a system, and it's not an evergreen, like, it's not, you have to, oh my goodness. Yes. I love it when people think I just didn't have the willpower. I'm like, you didn't have the system.
Yeah. And you didn't have the commitment.
No, you didn't. You did not have the commitment. There are things that, for me that made a difference in wellness in particular, because that's where I really started from. That's my background, obviously, own your wellness. But it had to be non-negotiable. So it didn't matter if I felt like it. This is what I do. This is what this is what I spend this time on. Yeah. It's like brushing my teeth. I don't think about, do I feel like brushing my teeth today? No, it doesn't matter if I feel like it or not. I'm going to brush them because I like my teeth.
Yes, absolutely. What were some of your other non-negotiables along your fitness journey?
Well, actually, this is one that is a little interesting. I actually picked, for going to the gym, and as a personal trainer, I don't really personal train anymore, but I always needed a personal trainer because I invested in that way for that accountability. But I made it so that I would go in the morning before I had a chance to think about it all day and be like, do I feel like it? Do I not? Talk myself in and out of it all day long. That was the non-negotiable. I did it first thing in the morning before I went to work. So I was in the gym at 6 a.m. every, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So that was a non-negotiable for me, because then it just took it out of and it frees up so much brain power and energy to think about other things. Yeah. Because I'm not fighting with myself about whether I should or shouldn't. It just is what I do and when I do it.
Absolutely. But when we make it that non-negotiable and get to switch into, I am committed to doing this no matter what. Oftentimes, it requires a bigger why. So, most people will perform better, stay committed to something, and hold their word more to another person or for another, organization or a bigger calling than they ever will for themselves. How do you make that non-negotiable of, I will keep my word to myself no matter what? And sometimes we have to extend it. If I don't meet these goals, if I'm not in the gym every day, I let my, family down, or I may not be in a place physically of where I'm going to enjoy life. And then that's going to negatively impact my work, my friends, my family, my kids, my whomever. And as you start to stack that out and really start to do it's called a benefit extension of, who will my choices start to benefit, or who will my choices hurt if I don't keep my word? That can often help us continue and stay on track until that non-negotiable really becomes a habit and second nature.
Exactly. They do something like that in AA. I worked in addiction recovery for a long time, and it's called playing the tape through. And for people who are new to sobriety, it's like, if I pick up that drink or if I pick up that drug, and then they play it through, like, what's going to happen if they do that? So I like the benefit extension better because it's positive versus going down the negative route. I would rather focus more on what's going to be good for me versus the why I don't want to, but that's where I am in my point in life. So I just, that's just where I am.
And kudos to you for being there. So many people aren't to that point yet, though. And we will, as humans, typically make a change to avoid pain more so than we will make the change to gain something. And
Exactly.
so depending on where you're at in your personal growth journey, maybe look at both, or really focus on, if I do this or don't do this, how much am I going to lose? What am I going to miss out on? Who's it going to hurt? But then as you evolve, grow, and develop, oh, now I can gain. Now I can make this impact. Now I get to do this because I was committed to my goals and my dreams. And it's really about finding those things that are really going to help drive you forward.
It's so true, because going back to the addiction recovery thing, they always say you have to be sober for yourself. And yeah, you absolutely, in order to make that decision, you have to be accountable and want it for you. However, if you become a drug addict and, sold your parents' things and been to jail and almost all the things that come along with drug addiction, you probably don't have the highest self-esteem. I mean, understandably so.
Yeah.
So in order to get through some of those times, I think it's perfectly okay to do it for somebody else. You get through it.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Where are you in where are you on the wellness ladder? Where are you in life? You got to figure out where you are and use what is at your fingertips in order to get you to that next level. I love that, we can think about things as a benefit versus, what is avoidance, trying to avoid pain. Like, I love that, but I definitely wasn't there.
Yeah. No, I mean, same. And wellness is such an important part. And from a confidence point of view, from an energy point of view, which if you're low energy, the thoughts that you think are going to drop, the decisions that you make are going to drop. You're not going to be making that healthy choice necessarily if you're just feeling completely drained. And so doing those things, especially that really help support and grow and build your wellness, your fitness level, your health level, is so important to just overall success in every single area of your life.
Well said. On that note, we do need to go to our last commercial break. We're going to be back in just a moment. And I said hello to everybody who's watching us live. Now it's my turn to say hello to everybody watching us on demand. When we come back, we're going to continue this conversation. I just want to talk a little bit more about other facets of success besides wellness, because, if you don't have your health, you don't have anything. But when we come back, we're going to talk about other parts of it. Welcome back, everyone. Let's bring our guest, LynAnn, back to the show. Hi. So during the commercial break, you gave this to me. I want you to explain what this is.
Yeah, so that's the link to the free assessment that I mentioned, the high performance indicator assessment.
So it's a website /HPI.
Yes.
Awesome. I love that. Thank you, by the way. That's a very generous gift offer, all the fun things. For those of you who are curious or, I know this about you, even though we don't really know each other. You're not going to put something out there that isn't of value to somebody else. So
absolutely. Yeah. And for the record, we do not collect the answers for this. So anybody who does take it, you're going to want to screenshot it to keep your results. And we do that just for privacy reasons. So that information is yours to do what you want. If you would like to, schedule that free strategy session with us and have those results ready, we're happy to talk through them and really talk about your goals and how you can create that strategy and that system to be able to get there.
I love that. That's amazing. Before we went to break, we were talking about wellness being a part of success. And there was one thing that I wanted to mention really, really quick was when I was coaching people who had big goals, whether, with work, for example, I always had them have some sort of physical goal that was the equivalent of these other goals so that they could do them together. Because how you do something is how you do everything. It's just, yes. They would get there so much faster every time they would have this physical goal. So just to give you an idea, this is for everybody who's watching, to give you an idea of how big my other goals are, I'm doing an Olympic triathlon April 28th.
Good for you. Oh my gosh.
I'm excited about that. But anyway, it's not about me. So, we talked about this idea of success being individual and what we think of as success. And we sort of talked about, we talked about wellness as being one component of it. But something else that I think a lot of people really struggle with or give up or put on the side burner are their relationships when they are trying to succeed. Or, you know what I'm saying? Like that person that you were sharing about. He got to the top of and beat all of his financial goals by a lot. And then he's like, I never see my family though.
Yeah.
So how important is that to maintain these relationships as you're growing?
I mean, having positive relationships is directly correlated to your overall level of success and happiness. And so, it doesn't have to be just because you have your family that it has to just be with them. But having a community of people around you who are also committed to success, who can help keep you accountable, who show you what's possible and remind you of what's possible for you when you don't believe in you is essential to being able to achieve success. So whether that's, 3 to 5 people in your group that you're consistently around, those relationships are crucial. And so you bring up such a good point because we have a framework that we call our 4 C's of elevated leadership. And one of those C's is really that foundation of community. And so one of the things that we do and why I really like the group coaching element is that it provides you that instant community of other people who are committed to high performance, high success, achievement, growth. And we keep them in a community that they're able to support and encourage each other and really help elevate the entire team. Because we look at it as a team, not just individuals that are part of this coaching program.
There's so many things about like group coaching. I know a lot of people assume that one-on-one is better. And I'm not saying that one is better than the other, but people really underestimate the value of group coaching.
Yes.
I actually prefer it at this point in time because you have the benefit of being with everybody else. Borrowed benefits. Somebody else is going to ask your question, or somebody else is going to have a question you didn't even know you had. Or you can have, like you said, you have this group of people who are in the same spot as you, trying to do the same sort of thing. They understand where you are. They understand your commitment versus trying to go to somebody who's not there. They have no concept of what you're creating and who you're becoming. So I love that. I love that you do that both ways, because it's not for everybody, but yeah.
And that's part of why we do, an assessment initially is different things work for different people. And some of the people that'll come in and do a strategy call, I'll actually refer them to my mentor's company that does 3-day, 7-day, and 9-day leadership seminars that completely transformed my life and really helped set that bar of self-awareness. And I also actually include all of his 3-day programs for his deep dive seminar as a bonus for any of our clients because of how powerful that is. And so even if it's, my main goal, our company's main goal is really to add value. And so if what that person needs isn't something that we specialize in, I'd rather get them in with a person or a group or company that's going to be able to really support them in their personal growth and their professional development, rather than bring them into something and say, oh yeah, this is going to be for you. Because it's about the outcome, it's about the journey, and it's about the individual.
I love that, because I'm the same way. I've turned so many people away, and in a better direction, I should say. I've turned them in a better direction because I know that, I could help them, but this person could help them way more than I can, and it's better for them. And sometimes they actually come back to me anyway, but
right. Well, and those different stages, right? Like sometimes at this stage in life or in this chapter, you're going to benefit more from this, but at your next stage, as you level up or as you change, as situations change, now all of a sudden, okay, maybe I am ready for what you had to offer before, or can now offer at this point that wasn't available before.
Yeah, exactly. So true. Something that I keep hearing you say too, that I really want to sort of point out, is this idea that your idea of success can change. Basically everything is fluid. You don't have to get stuck in a particular identity, a particular goal, a particular way of being. You can grow and change as you grow and change.
Yes.
I know for me, I used to always get stuck in like, well, I said I was going to do this, but meanwhile, I've already outgrown that goal. Oops. Well, we are running a little low on time. We don't have that much time left. I'm just curious, is there anything that maybe we haven't talked about that you want to touch on?
Honestly, just we did touch on it some, but you mentioned failure previously, and something that so often causes people to actually fail is because they're not committed to their goals. They're not committed to overcoming the things that, those obstacles that might stop them. And reframing failure as a necessary component to success is crucial for, growing and developing and improving. And if I just really want to challenge everybody to look at the failures, look at the struggles, look at those obstacles as things that actually help elevate your level of success and your opportunity, because every single failure, every single obstacle is just an opportunity to learn something, to grow from it, to be stronger, and to connect more with other people. J.K. Rowling, who is the author of Harry Potter, had failed 12 times. Her submission of Harry Potter got rejected 11 times before it was finally accepted. So many people would stop at the first one. Yeah. And there were days that, I wanted to quit. I wanted to give up when I was working to walk again. There were days that I wanted to give up when I was trying to, get to the next level and grow professionally and create a new career path. And it's really about the journey and connecting back to my why. Who is this going to help? How will this benefit somebody else? What pain will I avoid if I actually take these steps now? And really staying committed to what is that one more thing that I haven't tried yet that I can try, and commit to finding one more thing each and every time, every obstacle that comes against us.
Exactly. I can't remember who is saying this or if it's even a saying per se, but failure is the way to success.
Yes.
I mean, that's there's a lot of people think that that's like the end, but it really, really, really isn't. It's actually just part of it. And I love this idea of failing your way to success, and that the only way that you really do fail is when you quit.
Yeah.
So we're almost out of time, but I want to pop this up. What is that
So this
program?
is where they can go and schedule that free strategy call. They can also access that through the awarenesselevation.com website, but
Perfect.
this is the direct link. This will actually take them to my calendar instead of just our general calendar. So if they want to speak directly with me, they're welcome to using this link. Otherwise,
I love that. Thank you so much. It's very generous of you. We are out of time for today, everyone. I just wanted to thank you, LynAnn, for being here. I'm so glad that we were able to work through all the technical difficulties and make it happen. It was better than I thought.
Note to self, always test your new equipment before getting on a live call.
There you go. Anyway,
lesson learned, failure of the day. Okay.
There you go. There you go. It's a lesson, not a failure, right?
Exactly. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you. And thank you for watching, everyone. We will enjoy the rest of your week, and we will be back again very soon.